Hey everybody, what's going on? KSA Kris here, Real Estate Blitz. We're going live. Most of you are going to end up seeing this on YouTube since that's where everybody follows me, plus all the amazing 54,000 people that follow me on Facebook. Thank you. On this one, just because I'm lazy and because I decided that my friends, so on my personal page, on my personal Facebook page, I have a ton of people that follow me on there along with a bunch of my friends, and they usually jump on during the day and ask a bunch of questions. So I figured I would go ahead and jump it on my personal page. I'll be sharing this everywhere else like I always do. I'll strip it down. And of course, the purpose of the Real Estate Blitz is I am not a guru. I'm not anything. I'm just some guy that happens to do a lot of real estate and have done for a long time. And I saw a deep need. I know I just did an amazing interview the other day with Christopher Waters. And if you haven't watched it, you have to watch it. I've gotten people from all over the nation that hit me up about that interview because we talked about the direction of where real estate could go for real estate agents, especially if you aren't educating yourself. That's why I wanted to have Shon on today. And we're going to talk about that. I'm a deep believer, and everybody knows because I'm not a guru, I don't do this for money. I don't make any money off of this. I mean, YouTube gives me a few bucks, but trust me, it's enough to maybe buy me a couple candy bars. Okay, so with that said, I like pitching people that are smarter than me. I like pitching people that have coaching programs. I deeply believe every real estate agent should be involved in something. I view it, it's like you need something where, your mind should have a whetstone. If you're not sharpening your mind at any given time, you are going to fall behind. You're going to lose in the real estate game. And that's just, the thing is, it's not my belief. I know this to be true. I mean, that's for any business. You cannot become better without some type of education. Now, there's a lot of great stuff on YouTube. A lot of you that watch me on YouTube, that's where you get stuff. I'm just giving information based off of what I know. Again, I'm not a guru or a coach. It's based off of what I know that works for me in Southern California because that's where I work. It's based off of what I know with real estate investing over the last 20 years in 3 different states, but I can only talk about the states I've been in. So this is why I bring on guys like today to talk about, things I don't know. And actually today is going to be a lot of fun because I'm going to put you through your paces, just so you know. You're going to teach me some stuff on here, and I want people to see kind of what you do. So anyways, with that said, do me a favor, introduce yourself so everybody knows who you are.
Hey guys, I'm Shon Kokoszka, founder of Icon Coaching. Do you want me to go a little deeper?
Sure, have fun. I mean, we're just gonna run after this.
Right on. So sold over 4,000 homes in my real estate career personally. I've built teams. I've owned a development company, mortgage company, title company, home building company. Was recently the past president of Keller Williams MAPS Coaching and the president of MAPS Business Training, where we took our proprietary models, systems, and tools outside of the real estate industry to consult with organizations like McDonald's Corporation, FedEx, Panasonic, T-Mobile, SportClip, Genentech, and a whole bunch of different companies you've never heard of. Yet one thing I learned in that part of my career path is the absolute alignment of business models that work in corporate America and how to apply those to a traditional real estate team, yet doing it a lot differently than everybody else is doing it. See, a lot of agents, they get out there, they say, okay, I'm going to build a team. I'm going to leverage through models, systems, technology, and people. And unfortunately, they go broke in the process because number one, they're not paying on a results-driven compensation model, and they ultimately kind of run out of money. I'm so glad you brought up Chris Waters, by the way, one of my favorite guys. He's a past Icon of the Month, a past client of mine as well. I've trained his entire organization. Great guy, solid business mind, no doubt about it. So that tells me in and of itself that you're bringing massive value to your listeners. Way to go.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mention all the time, I mean, I started the Real Estate Blitz because I was just frustrated and pissed off, to be honest with you. I was frustrated that you can hear stuff, but nobody was really talking about through my growing pains and experiences. Nobody was talking about the truths of real estate. It was just like, a lot of shiny objects, and I'm watching all these agents walk around haphazardly trying to implement the next shiny object and accomplishing nothing and being pissed about it. And in the process, I'm watching Purple Brick, and I could keep going. All these other companies that are really garbage, and the average American that's looking to buy or sell a home, they have no idea. And here's the thing: Purple Brick and Redfin, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, you can't say that, I just said it. You guys are garbage. All right, they're garbage. And it's what I found is that it's usually garbage agents that couldn't make it on their own and actually build anything end up over there, and it's just a job. And the average American is being spoon-fed this stuff because of the amount of money that they could throw at it. And now Zillow's jumping in the mix. And the reality is, you're not going to get the same. Okay, so actually, I was going to go into something, but I want to go back to something that you said. And I deeply believe this. So I view real estate as it's a commodity. It's whether you're selling oranges, real estate, cars, paint, whatever it is still a business. Okay. And I love the fact that you mentioned that specific traditional business models, if it's used appropriately to build a team or just real estate business in general, it freaking works. And that's a lot of the stuff that I talk about on the Real Estate Blitz. So now let's go to these other companies. They have money to throw at and basically fleece the average American. And people are going to get a better service from a quality real estate agent that's building a business, not a freaking job. And I tell a story on the Real Estate Blitz. This guy walks up to me one day and he says, "Man, your shoe game is weak." Another agent. I was like, "Man, your bank account is weak. Like, how many deals did you do this year?" And I know I've done more deals this month than you've done in the last 3 years. So good on you for having nice shoes. Like, stop being arrogant. Stop being, give value for the amount of money that you're charging. Treat it like a damn business. That's the whole point of the Real Estate Blitz. But I'm just doing it for free because I'm tired of people choosing these other businesses because real estate agents are not stepping up their game and actually showing and giving value. And somehow people started watching. So I like bringing on people like you to talk about the things that I can't talk about. Like I don't know. I'm not a coach. I don't have that type of a business. I never have. So, I like to pepper in stuff like this as opposed to me just running my mouth. So I love that you said that. I think I'm a deep believer of it, and I think it's fantastic you brought it up. And, what I'm hoping today we can talk about, I definitely want to talk about your business. I definitely want to talk about your book, but I just want you to kind of maybe go through, I would say the majority of listeners that I get are anywhere from novice to intermediate. And I do have a couple really heavy hitters that reach out to me that do watch the Real Estate Blitz, but I would like to maybe talk to the novice and intermediates, especially the intermediates, because I think people are chasing that.
100%.
And then talk about where should they go? What should they do? Because like to me, I have a process and I always talk about it. But that's what I'd like to get into if you're good with it.
100%. Now, considering your listeners and where they're at in their growth trajectory, how about we do this? Let's focus in on some actionable items.
Cool.
Proven best practices that they could implement, deploy right in their business model today, and start getting more traction to increase their production and their profits. Sound good?
Love it. Yeah, let's do it.
Well, let's talk about some of the inexpensive ways for you to generate leads. And by the way, if you're buying leads, stop it right now. You're just afraid of hard work. That's the bottom line. So you got to just roll up your sleeves. You got to reinvest, right? There's really 3 metrics that you can really control at the end of the day. It's what you say, knowing how to say it, and then saying it to enough people. That's the bottom line, right? If you're buying leads, guys, you're ultimately going to go broke through this process. Okay. Now, I want to talk specific to open houses. I think this is a strategy that is underutilized in real estate today, and probably one of the most aggressive strategies for you to identify buyer and seller prospects. Now, statistically speaking, NAR states that 49% of home buyers have a home they'd like to sell as well. Now, I believe that's a gross overstatement based on personal experience, as well as tracking the number of my coaching clients. That number is, I'm just going to guess, somewhere between 25 and 30%, yet still a valuable way to identify seller leads that really doesn't cost you anything. You might be sitting there saying, "Well, Shon, I don't have any listings right now. The inventory is short. What am I going to do?" Well, reach out to some of your agent friends. They'll let you hold their houses open as a seller satisfaction process, right? And if they say no, by the way, ask 9 agents. If they say, "No, you can't hold my listings open," ask the 10th. Eventually, you're going to find somebody who will allow you to hold an open house.
Now, I did a whole video just on that and going out and finding people in their local markets. And actually what we did, and actually I hired somebody eventually to do it because it's so beneficial. We went and found every real estate agent in our local market. We put them into our CRM and turned it into a farm. We actually farmed them for open houses. And we do it every week. It starts on Monday. We go through there. We try to, and so we want to have enough to where we can cherry pick the ones that we specifically want. So we aren't always just working the same open houses over and over and over. Yeah, so that's fantastic. I love it.
Right on. Now, the traditional open house, an agent puts up a few signs, shows up at the property, sits there and waits for somebody to walk in. Then they'll maybe hand them a clipboard or have them sign in or hand out their business card and say, well, if you are in the market, be sure to ask for me. My name's Shon. Bye. That doesn't work really well, right? So rather to be
What do you think they should do?
I think is the point. I've got a couple of points that are tweaks to the traditional open house that frankly, it makes all the difference. So here's what I'm going to ask that you do. The week prior to your open house, I want you to go out and I want you to preview every other property in close proximity. I want you to take great notes. Second, I want you to contact the listing agents of those properties and schedule showings on all of those listings during the hours of your open house. So if you're doing it Saturday from 12 to 3, you're going to call up the listing agent and say, listen, I'd like to show your property Saturday sometime between 1 and 3. And I might show it to one person. I might show it to 10 people. I might not show it to anybody at all. I just want free access to your property during the hours of my open house. I'm going to ask that you invite your lender or a colleague to attend with you. And the reason for that is because when a prospect comes in and they've completed your survey questions and you recognize that this is somebody that you want to invest your time with, then you can start getting curious. Just ask them questions. For example, how does this home compare to some of the others you've seen? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being ideal and 1 being, well, below average, how would you rate this property as it relates to what you need? And they say, well, it's a 6. Okay, what would you change about it to make it a 10? Well, we need a bigger kitchen or we need a bigger backyard. Well, because you've previewed all of their homes in close proximity, you could say, you know what? This home around the corner at 123 Main Street, that actually has the bigger kitchen or has the bigger backyard. Have you got 5 minutes? Let's run over and take a look at it right now. You leave your lender there to babysit the open house and get people to fill out your clipboard or your Open House Pro app or whatever it is that you're using, and you run out and show that house. Now, here's the point I want to make about this. Number one, I've tracked the numbers. The chances of them actually buying the open house that you're holding open, guys, it's less than 1%. So if you're holding just one house open, chances of you selling them a house are probably around 1%, right? Yet if you're holding 7 or 8 or 10 properties open all at the same time, then I think you increase exponentially your opportunity to sell that prospect a house. Point number 2, I want you to bring your laptop and I want you to bring a lightweight printer with you, whether it's an inkjet or a laser jet, just something you can carry, right? And then I want to make sure that you have internet access. On your open house signs, I would add a sign rider saying free list of area homes. Then when a prospect comes in, and let me ask a question. Do you think that buyer prospects, do you think they look at open houses they can't afford?
Mm-mm.
No, never, right?
Nope, they never do.
So
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So you're holding a $500,000 home open. They can qualify up to $350,000 as an example. Even if you've previewed all the other properties, even if you have showing set on all the other properties, you're pretty much dead in the water. Now, your job as a real estate professional is first, determine the needs of your prospect. Second, fulfill those needs as quickly and effectively as you possibly can. Okay. So when they've completed your survey or the Open House Pro app and they've articulated what price range they feel comfortable with, and you're holding a $500,000 home open, they can qualify to $350,000. And you say, well, I recognize you're looking up to $350,000. Good for you. Let's step over to the computer here real quick. In a matter of moments, I'll be able to print a list of properties that are currently active on the market that meet your specific criteria. So tell me, how many bedrooms are you looking for? How many bathrooms? How many car garage?
Right.
What lot size? What school district, right? You exhaust your questions around the needs of the prospect. You click the how many button, and let's just say that there's 7 properties that match their unique criteria. You print them out. You say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to review these together. We're going to create an A list of properties. Now, what that means is these are the ones you want to see the inside of. A B list, on the other hand, means they're not right for one reason or another. You don't want to see these. Now let's get into it. And out of the 7, let's say you narrow it down to 3 that they want to see the inside of. Guys, let me ask, how easy is it to now set an appointment?
Pretty easy. You've already showed a ton of value. You've already lined them up and you've qualified them. Now, what I would question, so based off of what you just said, going back to, you had mentioned going out and previewing a lot of the homes. Now, one of the things I love that you said is a majority of the time, not always, but a majority of the time, the expectation is the individuals that are walking into the open house are looking within that price range. It's usually why they're there. Now, do you think, based off of what you said, part 2, which I thought was fantastic, do you think all the homes that you've already previewed that are potential like properties, do you think it would be smart for you to actually print that out as well, put your own branding on it and say, these are other like properties to this property that you showed up to today. Here's all my information, all of my branding, and here's other homes that we could go look at. When would you like to schedule something if this one doesn't work for you? Do you think that would work as well?
Yeah, 100%. Because ultimately what you're doing with that methodology, or the methodology that I outlined, is you're positioning yourself to possess something that the prospect wants.
Mm-hmm.
And once you've done that, guys, that greases the skids toward the appointment, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It makes it super, super simple. All right.
Yeah.
One other real quick actionable item I want to share with the group, and that is when you're doing your lead follow-up, and I don't care if this is a web lead, a sign call lead, or an open house lead from 2 weeks ago, whether it's a lead that came in 30 seconds ago or a lead that you've been nurturing for 30 days, here's the script I'd encourage you to use. And first, let me share the contrast with you. Most agents, they're going to do their lead follow-up. And let's say they got a lead on a listing that they have, and it's a web lead. They get the name and the phone number and the email address of the individual. Most of the time, they'll just email them because they want to choose the path of least resistance. If you got a phone number, first call them, okay?
Right.
And what most agents do, though, when they do get them on the phone, they'll say, yeah, you reached out to me about 123 Main Street. Did you get all the information you were after? And while that seems intuitive, it seems logical, and it seems that you're adding value, guys, your prospects have two goals. The first goal is to eliminate the property. That's their number one goal. And why? Because they want to invest their time wisely, and you're no different. Let's just say that you're in the market for an old classic muscle car, like a 1968 Super Sport Camaro, right? So you go and you get this Auto Trader magazine, and you shift over to the Camaro section and the Chevy section, the Camaro section, and you start going through the list, right? You're first qualifying through the picture, right? And then the description of the car. And you're saying, oh, wrong year, cross it off the list. Wrong color, cross it off the list. Hasn't been updated, cross it off the list. It's not a convertible, has too many miles. And what you're focused on is elimination. And your buyer prospects are no different. They want to eliminate the property because they want to invest their time wisely. Second goal is to eliminate you as a salesperson. Okay. So what we've got to do is position ourselves not to let that happen. So when agents call them up and say, did you get all the information on 123 Main Street? Well, guys, information is abundant these days. Of course they get all the information, right? And if you approach it that way, they're going to want to eliminate that property and eliminate you in the process. Don't do that. So rather, I prefer alternative choice with your lead in. And this script is so simple, it's going to blow your mind. At the same time, though, I've split test this to the moon and back, and this is by far the highest conversion lead into this process, okay? And here it is. Hi, this is Shon with XYZ Realty. Thank you for taking my call. Hey, I'm just calling to update my files to see if you're still in the market to buy a home or find out if you've already purchased something. I mean, it's really that simple, right? Only two answers to that question, right? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Now, sometimes they'll say, well, we're thinking about it. To me, that's a yes, right? And you say, well, fantastic. Tell me, what part of town are you most interested in? So we're going to start focusing on establishing rapport based on the needs of the prospect, okay? So tell me, what part of town are you most interested in? And by the way, those three words, powerful words, right? So tell me. What that does, it assumes the yes. It assumes that they want you to do that. A lot of realtors are too polite. They just say, would you like me to? No, eliminate would you like from your vocabulary. It doesn't work. Replace it with so tell me. So this is Shon. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I'm just calling to update my files, see if you're still in the market to buy a home or find out if you've already purchased something. Yeah, we're still in the market. Fantastic. Tell me, what part of town are you most interested in?
Right.
Okay.
So you're just basically leading men and you're walking them to the water, as opposed to, we were talking about this the other day. We had a mastermind group, and it seems like every agent is trying to be so polite instead of being a sales professional. We're in sales, and your words have meaning. And when you're sitting there like, well, I don't want to bother him. We kept hearing that mindset. We're just going through mindset. Well, I don't want to bother him. Well, I don't want to harass him. And, it's like, look, this is like, they're going to buy with somebody. Yeah. They're going to buy with somebody. The question is it you or that's getting the paycheck? Is it you that's going to provide a service? Is it you that's going to get them to that next chapter of their life? Or is it going to be somebody else? So exactly. I love that you said that. Yeah, it's great.
And the bottom line is that those of you who are thinking, well, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to become a nuisance. My input to you is stop being so darn judgmental. I mean, shouldn't it be up to them whether or not you're bothering them or not? I mean, they could be homeless in 2 weeks without your help, right? Let them make the determination whether or not you're bothering them. And if you are, well, fantastic. You don't have to follow up with that prospect any longer, right? Just move on to the next. It's really that simple. So let me take this down the road just a little bit further, okay? So you say, so tell me, what part of town are you most interested in? And they say, well, we're looking in this area. Well, good for you. Give them a powerful affirmation, right? And then you disclose, I'll tell you what I'm doing right now. I'm logging into our multiple listing service platform. In a matter of moments, I'll be able to share with you every listing that matches your unique criteria. So tell me, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many car garage, what style of home, so on and so forth. Hey, fantastic news. I've got 7 listings that match your unique criteria. Okay. Now you've successfully positioned yourself to possess something the prospect wants. So the next step in this process is to close for an appointment. Now I'm going to share with you my methodology of closing for appointments, and it's really simple. It's the ABC approach. And no offense to Glengarry Glen Ross, I love the movie, right? I watch certain parts of that movie 4 or 5 times a year, right? Yet always be closing.
Coffee's for closers.
Yeah, exactly. Yet always be closing has never done a realtor any good, right? It's kind of cheesy. Right. So rather, the new ABCs are action, benefit, commitment. So what you do as the salesperson is you outline the action you want your prospect to take. And in this case, it's to simply set an appointment for them to come to the office. That's the action. Now, anytime you as a salesperson outline an action you want your prospect to take, there's a question that appears within their mind, right? And that's the what's in it for me, or why should I do that question? That's why we immediately follow the action with a benefit. In essence, we say, here, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, here's what's in it for you. Here's why you should say yes. And then we go to the commitment, which is very simple, alternative choice. So tell me, when is the best time for you to get together with me? Is it weekdays or weekends? Really that simple. So let me just articulate an example for, say, a first-time home buyer, because there's multiple different categories of ABC scripts that you should write out, that you should internalize, that you should master by split testing, or at Icon Coaching, we've got them all. You know, we've got the proven best practices. We'd love to share them with you. Yet I'll share an example of a ABC script for, say, a first-time home buyer. So I've clicked the how many button, and I say, you know, fantastic news. There are 12 properties that match your unique search criteria. And fortunately, in order to get you one step closer to achieving your goals, all we need to do now is simply set an appointment for you to come to the office. What I'm going to do is I'm going to download the photos, the virtual tours, the drone footage of each of these properties. That way you can view them on screen in my office before you spend your time or waste your money on gas to drive by them. Additionally, I'm going to take you through an initial counseling session that's going to eliminate all of the common pitfalls that first-time home buyers fall into that cost them tens of thousands of dollars. Finally, I'm going to share with you proven negotiating strategies to help you get the best price on the home that you purchase. So tell me, when's the best time for you to get together with me? Is it weekdays or weekends? Now, they may push back. They're going to give you an objection. You might be talking with the husband of a husband-wife team, and he says something like, well, that sounds great, yet let me talk with my wife and I'll call you back. Now, most agents, they give up after asking once. Actually, most agents don't even ask. They're simply order takers. The buyer prospect actually closes them by saying, when can you show it to me, right? Right. In the book, Noble Selling, the author outlines that 44% of agents don't even ask for the appointment. Isn't that sad? Yeah. And another 22% give up after asking just one time. So they say, let me talk with my wife. I'll call you back. No, guys, when you've refined and developed your ability to ask at least 5 times on the same phone call for what you want, you're liable to get it. Okay. So when they say, let me talk with my wife, I'll call you back. Here's what I want you to say. Well, I certainly understand that. Let me ask, if it's okay with your wife to meet with me, is it okay with you? See what they're doing? They're playing good guy, bad guy with you, aren't they? I'm the good guy. It's my wife that's the bad guy. And remember, they're trying to eliminate you through this process. So when you turn that around on them and you say, I certainly understand, yet let me ask, if it's okay with your wife to meet with me, is it okay with you? Because they're the good guy, the answer is always yes, of course. Well, then I'll tell you what let's do. Let's just simply pencil in a time that you think is going to work best for your wife. I'll call you the day before to confirm it. If it works, fantastic. If not, we'll simply reschedule the appointment. So tell me, what do you think is going to work best for your wife? Is it weekdays or weekends? And they say, well, can you just email me the listings? Guys, it's like you're in a bullfight, right? You're the matador with the red sash and the bull keeps charging at you. What you have to do is just stay alive, right? You have to keep asking for what you want. Well, of course I can email you the listings. In fact, I'll do it right now. Yet let me just share with you what scares me about that. See, if I just email you the listings and you drive by them, well, you might hate them. And the problem with that is that I don't learn anything. And this part of the game, this part of the process, rather, it's all about training Shon on exactly what you're looking for. See, I get to see over 200 homes per month. I know the market better than anybody. And once you give me that picture in my mind of what you're looking for, well, then I'll be able to take you right to it. And you do want to spend time in your home purchase, don't you? Well, of course. So tell me, when is the best time for you to get together with me? Is it weekdays or weekends? And they say something else. Your job is to handle the objection, to reposture and ask again, ask again, ask again. And those who get what they want, they get what they want because they ask for it. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want.
I agree with you 100%. And I think too many agents quit way too early because they're being too busy. Again, I think it's a broke mindset. And it's funny that you said 5 times. So for me, I've always been one of those where it's like, you have to deny me, like a hard close, deny me 3 times. And I just picked that up. My mentor has been my mentor for years. Funny, he left a comment on my Facebook page the other day, but Michael Quarles, for the investor side, on the investor side, when I would talk to a motivated seller that's looking to sell their home in cash, you got to tell me no and like be mean about it 3 times before I'll actually take as a no. Because my thing is, I want the appointment. And when I show up to the appointment, I'm not leaving until I have a contract. In fact, I remember one time this lady, she wouldn't answer my calls, wouldn't answer all this other stuff. And I really wanted the house because I had somebody that was renovating a home across the street. I was going to do a wholesale. So I went and put a for sale sign in the front yard. I mean, now keep in mind, this is a long time ago and it was before I was a legal agent. So I was just some guy. And yeah, she called me. She was pissed. But I was like, look, hey, I've really been trying to get a hold of you. I'm glad you called. That's why I put that sign out in your yard. So like, can I come over? Because I want to buy your house in cash. I need to buy it. What do we got to do? Ended up buying it, ended up flipping it, did really good on that, just flipping the paper. But, I think too many agents quit way too early. And I think it's a mix of fear and bad mindset. And, it's mind blowing to me because this is your profession. And I view it as if you're giving value, like I genuinely, even if I won the lotto, I would still do this. My wife says she won't, but I will, right? I would still do real estate because I just love doing real estate. I love giving. I love helping. I love servicing. I love providing. It's something that I deeply enjoy. But if you are just trying to chase money, it seems like people's mindsets get a little shifted and there's a lot of fear that goes in there. And it's because they aren't rooted in something deeper. They aren't rooted in something that's driving them to say, look, I can help you. I know you need help. Somebody's going to help you. I'm the right person for you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to do you right. I'm going to get you into the home that you want. I'm going to help you with that next chapter of your life. So yeah, I love the fact 5 times you got to say no, reposition them. I wrote down a note. So tell me, love that. Absolutely love it. And I love the action, benefit, and commitment. I think that's fantastic. I actually talk about feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. However, what I found out is X, so I can actually come off. And I love little things like that to help me deal with objections or actually give me, like I have different elevator pitches, so I can just roll right into it. So I love that. I actually wrote that down, action, benefit, commitment, and use that as my framework to talk with somebody.
There's so many different categories of prospects, and each one of them, benefits will speak differently to them, right? Meaning the first time buyer ABC script that I shared with you, that would not resonate with an investor, especially a wholesaler, right? So you've got to have a different ABC script for an investor, whether they're going to hold or flip. Those people that are downsizing, those move up buyers, for sale by owner, an expired listing, a canceled withdrawn, a circle prospecting prospect. It's a different benefit in all cases. Now the action stays the same. The commitment stays the same. The benefit is interchangeable. There's no doubt.
So I got a question for you on that. So based off of what you just said, because I love that. Let's say I ended up meeting up with you and I wanted to start using your services, your program, and start falling into like that system. And so I think one of the biggest shortfalls for a lot of people is whether it's their business or their team, I would even say some brokerages, is like, do you help people, like, do you have actionable items? Do you have different processes and systems written out that they could take and actually implement within their business? Because I think that's one of the major shortfalls that a lot of agents have, is that they, especially, okay, so now if for those of you that have seen other videos, and I have thousands and thousands of views on other coaching programs that I've used that, are what they are, they talk a lot. And they say, well, watch this video. And then I talk to somebody for like 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes after we like do all this crap that doesn't mean anything to me. But I never got anything. They said, here, take this. Here's your actionable items. Here's how you implement your systems. Here's how you train your team to actually make you a profit so you can do more coaching. Like, that's what I would want, right? Yeah. So do you all do that?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, we wrote 19 books on systems for a real estate sales team. When I was 23 years old, I flew out to California. I met with a guy named Michael Gerber. He's the author of The E-Myth. And he taught me how important systems were. Yeah. So I got my eMyth certification, got back to the real estate office, immediately implemented system development across the board, every process, systemizing everything in your organization. Now, a system to me, it's nothing more than a standard process, a standardized process that produces a consistent and predictable result. Meaning you do it the same way each and every time, modified only for the natural behavioral tendencies of your prospect, yet you get that consistent, predictable result in your organization. Now, at that time in my life, at 23, I was a buyer agent on a team. And I systemized that buying process. Within 12 months and every year thereafter, I consistently closed over 100 buyer side transactions with one assistant because the process was systemized, from how the incoming call or incoming lead was handled, how we communicated with them and nurtured with them through the process. The initial counseling session, I developed a product called the 20-point buyer presentation, because there's really 20 expectations that you must set and then manage with buyer prospects. And when you do that, they just fall right in line. And the buy side of your business actually becomes really quite easy and very profitable. I mean, with an average sales price back in those days of $172,000, I had several $100,000 commission months. And that's just in my early 20s, right? Because I systemized the process. So if I could kind of articulate real quick a model that really kind of speaks to what Icon coaching gets to do with each of our clients. And those of you watching this, listening to this, if you got a pen and paper handy, grab it real quick. Just draw out this model with me real fast. Just draw a pyramid for me. Mm-hmm. And then draw 4 horizontal lines intersecting that pyramid to create 5 separate sections to the pyramid. Now, at the base of that pyramid, I want you to write the word foundation. So at Icon, we really help you strengthen and build a rock solid foundation. And with the right foundation, you can build a really big business. If you're going to build a house, the first thing you're going to install is a foundation, right? And without a foundation, the house is ultimately going to crumble. Yet most realtors kind of ignore that foundational aspect and get right into the next phase. Before I share that though, the foundation, there's really 4 categories to your foundation. To me, this is your state of being. It's how you show up to the world. It's how you show up to your prospects, clients, and family and friends, right? And those 4 things are your knowledge, right? Knowing what to do, knowing what to say. Right. Second, your skills, knowing how to do it, knowing how to say it. Number 3 is mindset. And finally, number 4 is habits. Now, I think habits are at the core of everything that we do. In fact, F.M. Alexander said that people do not decide their future, they decide their habits. And then their habits decide their future. Yet most people, realtors specifically, they form habits without intention, right?
Or they don't sit down and commit to the habits that they want to actually have, or they'll go after it for like a day, maybe 3 days. Like, I'm going to time block, I'm going to be at this time. It may last a week. Right. And then they go right back to where they were.
Well, and here's the challenge in that. The old adage, and I think it was coined by Napoleon Hill, was that it takes 21 days to form a habit. Now, Megan Oten out of the University College of London in Australia, as well as Charles Duhigg, the author of Power of Habit, have done a lot of research around this that kind of debunks.
That's another great freaking book.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Mention that one more time. Okay, so there's 2 books. Okay, so everybody that's watching, if you, and I do book reviews all the time because I read about 4 books a month. Okay, the 2 books that you have to absolutely get. Power Habit is unfreaking believable. I read that book when I was in Afghanistan. I was in Afghanistan. The second book, or it was actually the first one that was mentioned, was the E-Myth. That book was actually given to me by Sean Terry about 8 years ago. Changed my life. Okay, if you have not listened, I think it's E-Myth Revised. I'm actually I still listen to it once a year. I just do audiobook once a year. I re-listen to it. Just powerful. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like those are 2 major books that everybody should read.
I totally agree. Power of Habit, highly cerebral. There will be several chapters you have to read 4 or 5 times, yet it's worth the time to invest it. Because when you get to the point that I want to make, well, by the way, Charles Duhigg, Megan Oten, their research suggests that on average, it actually takes 66 days to form a habit. 66 days. And a realtor who attacks this for a week or 3 or 5 days, unfortunately, you're nowhere close to habit formation. Now, let me just digress. I want to share with you one of the greatest ahas I've ever had in my life. And I was really super fortunate to get this aha at just 17 years of age. Now, my wife and I are high school sweethearts, and we're 17 at this time in our life. And we decide we're going to go see a movie. And we invited her older sister to attend with us. She's 4 years older. And her sister's new boyfriend. I hadn't met this guy yet. And so I agreed to drive, and I pull up to their house to pick up her boyfriend, right? And here comes this guy out of the house. And I got to tell you, this dude was built. I mean, he had freaking biceps the size of my thighs, right? And I'm 17 years old. I want to look like this guy. So I get to know him a little bit. His name's Paul. I said, hey, Paul, how often do you go to the gym? He says, well, every day. Every day, seriously. I said, how long do you spend at the gym? How long is your workout? He said, well, at least 2 hours every day. My jaw hit the floor, right? 2 hours every day? I said, Paul, how do you find the motivation to do that 2 hours every day? I mean, I'm 17 years old. I'm having a hard time getting there once, twice a week, let alone every day.
Right.
And he looked at me like it was crazy. And this was the aha moment. He said, Shon, it's just something I do. You get the point, right?
Yep.
Right, this is who Paul is. This is what Paul does. And guess what? Paul gets to look the way he looks, right?
It's just part of his lifestyle, and the byproduct is he looks good.
Yeah, it's part of his paradigm. It's his self-image. This is who I am. This is what I do. And then he gets to look the way he looks. Now, my challenge to each one of you is to identify, what is it for you? What is that activity that if you brought to the point of automaticity, that you showed up at the office and you just did that? It's an expectation you have of yourself. It's part of your self-image. It's habitual, in other words. Like, for example, my habit is I show up at the office and the very first thing I do is I put my headset on and, man, I hammer those phones. I call every for sale by owner, every expired, and I keep going until I hit my 20th conversation of the day. And every day, come hell or high water, that is my number one priority. It's the first thing I do every day, and 20 conversations a day. That's the habit I want to own. Guys, if you owned that habit, I promise you, you are well into the six-figure income bracket in this business by merely having conversations. See, a lot of people, they want to build accountability structure for themselves or others around revenue. Guys, there's far too many things outside of our control, or number of contracts, or even number of appointments for that matter. If you're building accountability structure around number of appointments, ultimately what happens is you start going on appointments that aren't worth going on. You follow far too many things outside your control. So there's one thing, one lead measure that I think you need to build your accountability structure around, and that is number of conversations. I said it earlier, knowing what to say, knowing how to say it, and saying it to enough people. So if you want more appointments, all you have to do is have more conversations. If you want more contracts, all you have to do is set more appointments. And in order to do that, you have to have more conversations. Just reverse engineer it back to the one thing that you have to do every single day in this business to really grow your production. Now, you had mentioned a couple of other companies earlier. You said, Purple Brick, Redfin and Zillow jumping in the game. Guys, these disruptive models, it absolutely drives me insane. Now, I'll tell you, there are several disruptive models that are positive to real estate right now, though, too. I mean, you look at Keller Williams with their profit share model. That's a pretty cool model. There's no doubt about it. You look at EXP, which, by the way, is on fire right now. EXP is growing by leaps and bounds. I mean, it's wildfire right now. And it's because of their model. See, when you have the right model, it creates alignment with people, and people want to get behind you and help you grow that because there's something in it for them. And when we're building businesses with our clients, and a lot of realtors, they think they own a business. Really, they don't own a business at all. They're just self-employed, and they have a lot of responsibility. Until you get to the position of leverage, where you've leveraged models, systems, technology, and people, where you can make money by not showing up, that's when you own a business, right? And yet, I look at what EXP is doing and has done for several of our clients, as well as other stories that I'm hearing out there. It's creating residual income for realtors, where if they had a down month, it's not the end of the world, right? So, just to save people a lot of time of research and Googling and doing all that stuff, we created a really simple system for you to get all those questions you have answered, because I know most people are EXP curious right now. You just simply text EXP Wealth to 888-111. We're going to send you out a short little video, and it's going to answer a lot of those questions. So just feel free to do that. Again, EXP Wealth to 888-111, and that'll get a lot of those questions answered. And the reason I do that, I'm getting calls every single day. Shon, what do you know about EXP? What do you know about EXP? And it just saves my time to say, hey, just do me a favor. Just text EXP Wealth to 888-111. And then if you have additional questions, please follow up with me. I'd be happy to.
I've interviewed quite a few people from EXP, and I'm not personally at EXP. I remember I was getting a lot of questions all over. I'd get phone calls because I did quite a few videos and interviews talking about what kind of brokerage should you join, what types of brokerages are out there, and a lot of it was newer agents or disgruntled agents. I was one of them. My first brokerage I joined was a franchise, and it was awful. It was absolutely awful. And it turned into a complete nightmare because we took off pretty damn quickly. I remember, so here it is, you're taking a majority of my money, and the brokerage was, and I come and say, well, how do I get business, broker? And the broker goes, well, you buy some donut holes, and then you get some water and you stand outside this one area. No, this is actually what happened. This blew my mind.
No.
And, I was coming out of a career at that time. I had been an investor for a lot of years, but I was coming out of the Marine Corps after like 21 years. And I was a high-end technology guy. So I'm mostly like a tech guy. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, donut holes water, stand outside of a gate, hand that off, and then eventually I'll just make money. Well, that's stupid. So I started doing some research and started doing what I was best at. And we started taking off. My wife and I, we built a small little team of 4 people. I didn't know anything about teams. I just knew these 4 people made sense. We start blowing out our entire brokerage and the brokers, and they would be walking out of an interview as we're walking in, we're taking their listings, and then it turned ugly. It turned really ugly. Wow. And so I've talked through, different models, different types of brokerages, different variations. And I gotta say, I'm impressed with Keller Williams. I am impressed with what they've and they're so consistent. And actually, I recommend a lot of people going to Keller Williams. And I didn't know anything about EXP, and I was not EXP curious, which I think is funny. That's hilarious, right? And but I had friends that I knew that are really high producing agents that were at EXP. So they started approaching me because we were doing really great numbers. And I started asking more stuff because a lot of people on Real Estate Blitz wanted to know. So I started bringing people on, and it seems like we still haven't really broken that little cap or exactly what EXP is or anything else. So I love what I've seen. I actually don't know enough about it. So do me a favor, because I'm probably going to do a separate video and tell people this. I'm going to write it down. Say, I'm not the EXP guy because I'm not there. I'm not the expert. But since so many people are asking, they're going to. So tell me one more time, how will they find information?
Yeah, just text EXP Wealth, no spaces in between the letters, okay? Just EXP Wealth, all as one word, to 888-111.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to make sure I do a separate video just for that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so just immediately they'll be sent back the little link to a video. It's only 7.5 minutes long, yet it's highly informative. It's going to answer a lot of those questions that you guys are thinking about, and just save you a whole bunch of time doing the benchmarking and trending all on your own. So back to the model, by the way. So the pyramid, right? So the foundation, and with the right foundation, we can build a really big business, right? Second, moving up that model would be pipeline. So this is your marketing strategy, your Facebook ad strategy, your direct mail farming. This is your proactive lead generation, lead follow-up, your business-to-business prospecting, your networking, the number of open houses you're going to do, right? That all fits in this pipeline phase. Now, those with tenacity, you're going to break through to the next phase of the model called momentum. Now, momentum is a really fun place to be. And momentum, frankly, is one of the greatest magnifiers on the face of the planet, meaning when we have it, it makes us look 10 times better than we actually are. When we lack it, it makes us look 10 times worse. And like a locomotive that's traveling, say, 55 miles an hour, it will crush through a 5-foot wall of concrete that's reinforced with steel rods, and it'll keep on going, right? Yet you take the same locomotive in a stationary position, a 1-inch block under one of the wheels, it can't get going at all. So in coaching, what we do is we pull those blocks. We identify the blocks. We help you work through those blocks so that you too can get to this position of momentum. Now, the problem with most agents is when they hit momentum, they get sucked down in the weeds, don't they? They start holding the hand of the client. They're managing all the transactional work. And what happens to the pipeline phase of their business? It pretty much stops, right? That's why they have a cyclical level of production and profit, meaning January is terrible, so they lead generate like crazy, and February turns out to be pretty good. Yet, because they were sucked down in the weeds through the month of February, not doing their lead generation, lead follow-up, or any of that work, then March is terrible. Guess what? April's pretty good. May's terrible. June's pretty good, right? And it's a short road to burnout. It's a very stressful way to live your life. So you have to recognize it's not an or in this model, it's an and, meaning I'm in foundation, and I'm in pipeline, and I'm in momentum, right? It's not or, it's not a rung of the ladder you left behind. You're always in pipeline, right? Now, the next phase of the model from momentum is leverage. Now, this is, by the way, where most clients come to Icon, is that they're at that point where, they just can't seem to break from that 150,000 income up to 250, or that 250 to $500,000, or $500,000 to $1 million. They're just kind of stuck right there. And it's partially because they haven't applied the right leverage to their model. Now, there's 4 categories of leverage. I've said it multiple times already. I'll say it again. It's through models, systems, technology, and people. Model, systems, technology, and people. And then the pinnacle of this model is what I call mastery. Now, to me, it's a lifetime journey. Gang, we rent our success in this industry every day, and that landlord comes for payment every single day, right? Now, your payment might be different than mine or the person sitting next to you right now, right? Your payment might be getting in the office and having 20 conversations every single day, right? Your price that you get to pay might be to make those recruiting calls because you need other agents on your team because you've got an abundance of leads. You don't have a lead generation problem. What you have is a talent problem. You just don't have enough of it, right? So your price tag might be a little different than others, yet every dream comes with a price tag. One of my favorite quotes, by the way, is from a guy named John Maxwell. And he's not only my coach, he's a personal friend. He's just an incredible, incredible man. He says this. He said, dream believers are always in abundance, yet dream buyers are rare. Meaning every dream comes with a price tag, right? And everything we want, frankly, it's uphill, isn't it? I mean, it's challenging to get it done, right? Everything we want is uphill, yet many people, they have uphill dreams with downhill habits, right?
True.
And never going to get there. And you think of those people that do, in fact, reach the pinnacle. They weren't just picked up one day and set there at the top of the mountain, right? No, of course, it was hard.
Absolutely not.
And I've never met somebody who reached that pinnacle and turned around and looked behind him and said, man, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. It's going to be hard work. Many of you want 2019 to be the best financial year you've ever had. Yet what if I told you it's going to be really hard? What if I told you you're going to have to invest a minimum of 2 hours every day into proactive lead generation until you get to that position of leverage? Would you still be interested? Are you willing to pay the price to obtain the dream? That's the question. By the way, if you are interested in info about Icon coaching, I've got a lot of free resources right there on my website, guys. All you have to do is go to the agent resource section. It's iconcoachinre.com. iconcoachinre.com. And the RE is for real estate, obviously. And feel free to go there. There's a lot of free resources. By the way, if you are interested in maybe getting a little help with clarity, business planning is something that we do with all of our clients. That is the foundation of what we get to do. And we've got some proprietary methodology that will blow your mind. If you're interested.
So can we talk a little bit about that? Because I know we're kind of coming to a close here. So I put it up on here, iconcoachinre.com. Tell us a little more about Icon. Like you mentioned a little bit in the beginning, but I definitely want to I personally would like to know more, what does Icon provide? Who would be the right person to go to Icon, and outside of just getting free information, but saying, look, I'm ready to go to the next level. So what level do they need to be at? Who are you really targeting, and who would be the right candidate to get the most out of Icon if they went and found you?
There you go. Thank you for that. Minimum level of income to be approved as an Icon client is $100,000 in gross commission income per year. So most agents can get there, yet our methodology is so specific to the leverage aspects that you have to be at that level for this stuff to work. Otherwise, it's going to be way over your head. So I'd say if you're not there, get there first, then come to see us. Because what differentiates us from all of our competitors is while all of our competitors are going to focus on your personal production, I think that's great. And I think we all need that, right? What we get to focus on is the application of leverage so that we can raise your production and profit. Because once you reach that natural ceiling of achievement, and we've all got it, right? Meaning I can't work with another buyer. I can't put them through the pipeline. I can't take another listing because I simply can't create another hour in the day. That's our ideal client, is that we're going to help you apply models, systems, technology, and people so that we can really improve your production and your profit through leverage. And let's face it, once you hit that level, the only thing that's going to get you beyond your current level of production, guys, it's leverage. It's leverage. And yet most people don't understand the business models, the economic models, the compensation models, or the organizational chart requirements to really build a business. And it's those people that are open and coachable and willing to implement what our coaches advise. Those are the ones that are really blowing it up, just really building a business where they can go to Europe for 3 months and they're still making money. Right?
I'm gonna soft pitch you something here, because I already know, and it's funny because I get phone calls about this when I personally pitched other programs that I've either participated in or I've talked with them, because I know a lot of different people that I brought on. They're like, hey, Kris, let's get together, and we talk through it, and they actually help me out a little bit. So then I end up really going a little bit deeper just for them. I'm gonna soft pitch you something. It's an objection, and it's the objection that I've heard over and over and over. And it's funny because it's the one objection that every agent, even agents that aren't doing any business, they're quick to bring up some type of podcast that they heard to where they immediately annihilate the objection. It says, well, I won't take anything less than 6%. Let me tell you why. So now let's talk about the money objection, because I would say when it comes to coaching, and every time I've spoken to somebody or they've called me, I'm like, you probably need to get a coach. You probably need to get a coach. You're at a point where, yeah, you can watch Real Estate Blitz, but you need to get a coach. You really need somebody that's going to give you energy. And the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, oh, but it's going to be so expensive. So let's just get this out of the way.
Right.
So if somebody's watching this, and I guarantee the first thing that's going through their mind is like, oh, Icon provides all this stuff. You need to start here, and this is, wow, I really want to do it, but I bet you it's extremely expensive. So there you are. There's your soft pitch.
Well, thank you.
Just swing away.
Well, we have group coaching programs that start at $97 per month, no long-term contract, no long-term commitment. And that's a program we call Icon Accelerator. Now, this is a group program done via Zoom, very similar to this, where you'll see the participants, they'll see you, and 90% of the content of that weekly mastermind session, it's audience authored. It's a place where you can bring your questions, you can bring your challenges, and you're going to have a whole group of us. You're not only going to hear my perspective, which I'm not shy to share, okay? You'll hear the perspective of everybody on that call. It is a powerful, synergistic group. You also get access to our learning management platform, which has all of our scripts, dialogues. There's probably 100 different videos there at least, probably a heck of a lot more, yet training videos, the blocking and tackling of our industry. So that's that, $97 a month or $997 for the whole year. So It's not that expensive. However, one-on-one, it does get a little bit more pricey. It starts at $500 with our launch program. Then it jumps to $1,000 per month, which we call Champion. And then we have Elite Team Coaching at $2,000 per month. Now, that would be a separate call with the team lead and then a separate call with their entire team to make certain that we have an alignment where we're really focused on foundation and leverage. Yeah. And it's very inexpensive. We're a fixed fee model, by the way. Yeah. We're going to teach you how to make an extra $1 million next year in real estate sales. And we're still a fixed fee model. So
that's extremely competitive. So I just want to put this out there from, an outside perspective. It's easy for somebody to say, oh, this is great. But for somebody that's outside of Icon, that's an extremely competitive set of pricing. In fact, I would say it's more competitive than Tom Ferry and pretty much just about any competitor. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And Tom Ferry, while he's a great marketer, he doesn't even have a real estate license, never sold real estate.
Okay, so don't get me started. Okay, so people that have watched Real Estate Blitz, I get real shitty about this one. Don't get me going. Okay. I was on Tom Ferry coaching. I think it has its point and purpose. It was fantastic. Many, when I was doing it I think it's great for very beginning, basic to get organized. I've done videos on it. I've got tens of thousands of views on those videos. But I think if you're really trying to step it up, and especially for the price, so hear what you're talking about. So I'm at 100,000. I want to get to 300,000. I personally would not be on the Tom Ferry program. That's just me. Not only that, but I don't need the accountability. I'm very self-accountable. I need everything else besides that accountability. I need somebody to say, great, you showed up. Now let me show you how to do the job. Like, I need the job. Right. But that's just, again, me personally.
So, by the way, if you are interested in just exploring it, no cost, no obligation, I just encourage you to jump on a discovery call with a consultant here at Icon. And the easiest way to do that is simply text discovery to 888-111. It'll just bounce you back a quick link. It's a self-scheduling link, so you can identify a time in your calendar that you can meet with one of our consultants. You self-schedule. You're sent a couple of reminders leading up to the call, and that call takes about 35 minutes. We're going to identify any gaps that exist in your business. We're going to share with you our methodology free of charge. And if nothing else, you've just improved your knowledge base. You have nothing to lose.
Cool. Now, just because I'm curious, I know a lot of people that watch are building teams, or they have teams, or have very profitable teams. I'd like to hear more, and myself, I got my own team. I'd like to hear a little more as far as like the team coaching, because I know that was one of my hangups with a few of the other programs that are out there. I don't see the real benefit of their team coaching. So can you tell a little more about that?
Yeah, you bet. So, excuse me. Boy, didn't expect that. So if we go back to that model, when we're working with the team, we're really focused on foundation, improving their knowledge, skills, mindset, and habits. Now, when I talk of knowledge, I talk about, first off, our proprietary business planning methodology. It's called the ETA. Stands for expectation, targets, and actions. So together, we work with each individual on the team to identify what is their expectation. Now, by the way, expectation is just merely a better word for the word goal. See, I think the word goal is overused, especially in our industry. And personally, when I set a goal, it almost creates a sense and an energy of uncertainty, meaning I might not accomplish that.
I might not. I almost think I think when using the word, and we don't use it here, I think using the word goal is freaking weak. I think it's pretty damn weak. It's like, well, this is my goal. Well, it's my goal to be sexier, but look, this is it. This is what I got. I mean, I could probably eat more vegan. I don't know, but it's like, I'm where I'm at. All right. So I don't like the word goal either. I'm not a fan.
Good. So rather, I believe in setting expectations because it shifts your mindset, it shifts your energy, and it becomes something you just expect to happen, right? Under your expectation, we're going to outline 3 to 5 on the outside target positions. Now, targets are interim expectations that are measurable, yet they're not grounded in a singular action, meaning many things must happen for the target to be accomplished. And then under each target, we're going to outline 3 to 5 actions. Now, these are specific, measurable tasks that you or somebody else could do on the team, or even a vendor could do for you to help you accomplish the target. So for example, if I want to close 100 transactions, that's my expectation. I want to be listing heavy. Target 1 would be close 60 listings. Target 2 would be close 40 buyers. And the actions under the close 60 listings might be things like, contact 10 expired listings every day. Contact 5 for sale by owners every day. Contact 2 letters of my database every day, meaning if my goal is to contact everybody in my database 4 times per year, if I just took 2 letters of the alphabet every week, because there's 26 letters in the alphabet, right? 52 weeks in the year. If your last name begins with A or B, I'm going to call you this week. If it's C or D, I'm going to call you next week, E and F, and so on and so forth. Then at the end of the quarter, you'll have reached out to everybody in your database every single quarter, right? Most agents, they say, I want to call them 4 times a year, once a quarter. Then it's March 31st, last day of Q1. And they're like, shoot, I got to call 750 people today. And it doesn't happen, right?
Right.
So you'll outline the actions associated with the target. What specifically are you
I love actionable items. So now I want to go back to the team lead specifically, because again, I hear it so much. And honestly, this is what I've struggled with in my business. Being able to go as a team lead, and when the team lead sits down with Icon, coaching, now are you going to hand the team lead and say, not only we're going to give you this mentorship, we're going to give you direction, we're going to help you change your mindset, we're going to build the foundation, the pipeline, the momentum, all this other great stuff, but we're going to help you out. And I wrote it down here with systems and processes. Like, here's a system and a process, you as a team lead, to recruit. Here's a system and process to get your listings going. Here's system and process for inbound leads and working the buy side pipeline for your agents. You see what I mean? So does Icon do that as well?
100%. Yeah. Everything from job description contracts to perfect week schedules to standards, expectations. It's all there. It's plug and play. Now, with that said, it's not a cookie cutter model. Right. I've never worked with one client exactly the same way I work with another client. It is a customized business strategy based on your existing models and based on what you do. I mean, there's 1,000 different ways to generate leads in this business. It's kind of like going to the buffet. We're going to educate you on all of them, yet when you go to a buffet, you don't eat everything at the buffet, right? I mean, there's certain foods you just don't like it. You are going to load your plate up with what you do like. So we're going to work with you specifically to identify what you do like, what you want to do. And then we're going to teach you the proven best practices. We're going to hold you accountable and able to do that at a very high level and very consistently. And the natural byproduct is a higher level of production and more profit. And that's why we do what we do. Is that true?
Yep. And if you do it right, you won't have the price objection. Now, this is what always blows my mind. It's like, look, if you're doing it right and you're listening and you're attacking and you're going all in with your energy, you're not going to have a problem paying for coaching. And I tell people all the time, eventually you need coaching if you actually really want to go to the next level. So you know what? I don't want to hold you up because we're at a full hour. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like to pass, or any way people can contact you if they want to reach out to you, if they want to reach out to Icon? And we didn't get a chance to even talk about your book. So
that's okay. Have me back again later. We'll do that.
Okay, cool.
I got miles of content for you. So let's do it again here in a couple of months, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just text Discovery to 888-111, the EXP Wealth to the same number. You can do that. One final thought I'll leave you with is, when you approach this business, specifically your prospects, your clients, your past clients, just guys, come from contribution. Just give to them without ever remembering, and receive from them without ever forgetting. And when you approach your business that way, you'll never go wrong. Ever.
Love that. Say that one more time. That was magic. There's been a lot of gold nuggets here.
So give to others without ever remembering, and receive from others without ever forgetting.
Awesome. Love it. Okay, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be putting this up. So this is, it's funny is so this video probably by the end of the day will it's 2,000 views. It's just my personal page. I'm going to be putting it up everywhere else, but once it goes on to YouTube, then it just runs. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Thanks for supporting the Real Estate Blitz. Like, share, comment, like, share, comment, like, share, comment, like, share, comment. Can people look you up on Facebook? Does Icon have something on Facebook?
Yeah. Just type in Icon Coaching. You'll see my mug up there. So please follow us there. You can reach out to me on my personal page as well. That's Shon, S-H-O-N, Paul, P-A-U-L, Kokoszka, K-O-K-O-S-Z-K-A. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, one last one. Do you all, because I have so many YouTube followers, do you all have a YouTube page where you put out content as well?
We do. In fact, there's probably 125 different videos up there. Just type in my name, Shon Kokoszka, S-H-O-N-K-O-K-O-S-Z-K-A, and you'll be inundated with the blocking and tackling videos of this industry, as well as some of those higher level concepts that we kind of touched on today a little bit.
Right. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Shon. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. And we are going to be logging off. If you hold on one second, Shon, I'll just get you offline.